because this is extraordinary and I'm thrilled that it's happening.
Yeah.
Some D.C. police officers like Daniel Hodges are suing the Justice Department over the $1.7 billion payout fund that January 6th rioters are already lining up to collect. Here's what Officer Hodges had to say yesterday. Take a look.
These people, they should not be rewarded by the government for their attempt to overthrow the government. They tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power. They wanted to assassinate the vice president. They assaulted me and my colleagues. They instilled fear and terror in members of Congress, the staff, congressional staff. There's no reason that the government should be giving these people money. And so many of them pled guilty in a court of law, and they had very fair trials. I was there.
Now, some Republicans are uncomfortable with the settlement, but administration officials, and you know who, yeah, they still trying to sell y'all on this insanity. Take a look.
The Biden administration was horrible in terms of what they've done to people. It was the most violent thing I've ever seen in politics.
Would you be okay with people who were convicted of hurting police getting taxpayer money?
Just to be clear, people that hurt police get money all the time.
It sends a signal, hey, go breach the Capitol, destroy the building, assault police officers, you may even get compensated for someday. That's absurd.
What do you make of this $1.7 billion fund for
bad news? We're going to try to kill it.
You're going to try and kill it?
Yeah,
wow.
We're trying to unpack exactly, what the legal machinations are, but can't do that.
So I just want to give you this information. 7 people, let's not forget, 7 people died in relation to January 6th. 3 of them were police officers. Approximately 140 police officers were injured. Officers suffered traumatic brain injuries, lacerations, crushed spinal discs, and were repeatedly exposed to chemical sprays. Remember, people got sprayed with that bear spray? And now some have post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is the part I want you to really absorb. In addition, the attack cost the U.S. $2.7 billion in taxpayer funds to address things like the millions in damages to the Capitol, security needs, investigations, and now they are asking us to pay back the very people who cost us that money to begin with. So do you think more Republicans are going to speak out against this insanity?
No.
Well,
You don't? Really? They're not. Why would they? They're right in his orbit. They only want to please their leader. This guy, the former Proud Boys leader, Enrique Torres, who directed the Proud Boys to assault the government, he received a 22-year sentence for seditious conspiracy, and he expects to get between $2 and $5 million in compensation. What about the Manson family? Why don't we give them money? I mean, there are so many criminals who deserve to get paid.
Well, and to put it into terms that I would hope that folks on the right would understand is I remember in 2020, Republicans were big mad that Kamala Harris tweeted out that people should give money to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which essentially offered cash bail for people who participated in the Black Lives Matter protests. People were saying that's bailing out people who destroyed property, who may have assaulted police officers. There was
very limited destruction of property.
It was a very significant rallying call on the right, and I do think it hurt Kamala Harris's chances in 2020 in that election. She ultimately dropped out. This is that on steroids. We saw with our own eyes what happened at the Capitol. We know that people were not just charged, they were convicted of assaulting police officers. They've since had their sentences commuted or been pardoned by the president, but now they're going to get financial compensation. Like, make that make sense to me. We have to try to be a little more consistent, but I actually do think this is going to be blocked. I think either by the courts or by Congress. When you have a number of House members, Brian Fitzpatrick, who we showed, he's a Republican who serves in a district that Kamala Harris won and that Joe Biden won. This is somebody who has a tough re-election ahead, and he has an incentive to try to stop the craziest ideas that are going through Washington.
I just think we need to make it clear that there can be no comparison between the Black Lives Matter movement and what we saw on January 6th. I just want to make that clear.
And that's not the suggestion.
I know that wasn't
your
I know that wasn't your suggestion, but people that watch our show take away different things. So I just want to make that part clear. There were very
limited destruction of property and violence during the uprising, the Black Lives Matter uprising.
To the president.
And no threats to the president.
No threats to the president. I probably disagree on property damage, but we don't need to relitigate 6 years ago.
But the other thing I will say is that in terms of the January 6th insurrectionists and rioters, it was 100% conviction rate. None of the appeals were successful. And so those were adjudicated properly. And what is interesting to me about...
Can you explain adjudication, please?
Adjudication means
it went through the courts.
sometimes it went through all the court system, and none of the appeals were successful. So they were found guilty. Right. They were put in prison. Their appeals were unsuccessful, and the system worked. Because a lot of people are saying, well, they were wrongfully convicted, including the president, and that's just not true. The other thing that I will say about this is what is interesting is that President Trump sued the IRS through his own Justice Department, and the head of the Justice Department at this point was his former personal attorney. So the federal judge in Florida, which is a district that is you know, his place, his district.
It's a red district.
It's a red district. That federal judge issued an order in that case against the IRS saying, you know what, in federal court you have to have opposition, you have to have opposing parties, and I don't see that here. So she issued an order saying that on May 20th, she wanted everybody to brief her, write down what the legal arguments were, and she was going to hold a hearing on May 27th because I suspect she was going to throw out that case. That was a winnable case. You know what the Attorney General did, the acting Attorney General? They settled the case before it even got adjudicated in court, and then the settlement included this fund. So this is corruption, people, at the highest level.
Well, even like when you read about some of the people that want to tap into this fund, Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, complains that he's lost millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, did anyone sit that guy down and said, you made some choices. You made choices, and that has consequences with consumers. The government didn't weaponize anything. You didn't use your head, and it came back to bite you in the butt. Like, that's what happened to Mike Lindell. But again, Republicans have never been big on any form of like reparations, like payment back on anything. That's all I can see when I see this fund. I'm not a big reparations person. If there are reparations, the only people that should be in that line are Black Americans. That is the only people.
And the Native Americans.
And Native Americans. I do not mean to leave out Native Americans.
Native Americans
That's the only thing that tracks in my mind. If you're talking about people who have been wronged, let's look at the laws in the books.
One more.
One more.
And the Japanese.
And the Japanese that were
interred
on their own country.
How about not Mike Lindell? Okay, we know their line. Not Mike Lindell.
Not Mike Lindell.
Any more?
Or the
No, those are the and they came because when we had this conversation before, I started remembering, you know, when people invited you to come and said, hey, you came here, we're going to take care of you, and you took the land. You know, people said, listen, I'm coming here for a better life, and killed a lot of people, and I'm here for a better life, and I've done all this great stuff in this country. And you're concerned that because you think I'm something, I look like someone, you're going to take everything I have and take it away. And that's what happened to the Japanese. So there are people who deserve to get a little something, something.
Truth and reconciliation.
Truth and reconciliation.
Mike Lindell.
But you're right.
It's not the pillow guy, guys. Not the pillow guy.
You know, and I think kudos to Harry Dunn. And kudos to the other officer that was speaking. You know, that officer that we just showed a clip of was
in the door.
He was the one that was in the door that was smashed and hit. And it takes great courage. I think we've all gotten to know Officer Dunn. He texted me yesterday, and I said, yes, thank you for your courage. And he sort of gave me that emoji on my phone. And I think it takes tremendous courage after experiencing what they did to stand up yet again for this country, yet again for Americans, to say that this is wrong.
You don't get to selectively stand with police officers. Either you stand with police officers or you don't.
What
You don't get to
happened to the
selectively
Republican
do it.
Party backing the blue? What happened to the law and order party?
Law and order. Carve out, apparently.
That can never be called the Law and Order Party ever again.
No.
That's finished.
And the idea that they talk who talks about this like there wasn't a threat to his vice president.
Yes.
I mean, They
I do feel
said
like history glosses over that lately.
I mean,
like,
Do you think he cared
People
about
need to
that?
check on Mike Pence.
I mean, it's
You know why?
we
Because
should
there's
never
too many
forget.
things. There's too many things to
right?
worry about.
yeah, it's
That's
all
why.
of the stuff to worry about. But you know what? You will have your say in November. You will make your decision in November. Regardless of what they're telling you, you can vote whatever your party is. You will find the way because nobody, too many people died in this country
Correct.
to be backing up and saying, oh, no, we're not going to vote. Get your asses out there and vote.